Alrighty, so we're back working on the black one again. So we've had a few little problems that I've had to sort out. So same thing I mentioned in the last video, this pipe and this pipe were switched. So I've had to switch them on this engine because I've been having some weird problems with thermal management. I couldn't work it out. So I'm trying this to see what happens. So I've reconnected this one to the heater and this one to the expansion tank up here. And I've also gone, fuck it, while it's apart, I may as well wrap this stuff in the gold tape, and this stuff is a pain in the ass to put on bends. It does not look half decent, but as long as it works, whatever, as long as it stays there. So this one I did in separate little pieces. I just did one wrap and then one wrap and then one wrap, and same with this one. This one I went, fuck it, started it on one wrap around and then did it on an angle on the next wrap, and just followed it down. Doesn't look the greatest, but I mean, I guess the air gap might even give it a bit of thermal management as well, so whatever. And then we'll refill it full of coolant and see what happens. Alrighty, so we've been driving around for a bit, for probably about a week now, and everything's okay, but we're starting to notice a few problems. So we're having what sounds like to be cavitation in the pumps. So I'll see if I can get a recording of it for you. But yeah, what it sounds like is happening is I think there's too much returning to the main tank, and it's causing air bubbles or something, or it's sucking in air from the other side of the tank because the venturi is going too fast or something. And then that's getting sucked up by the primary tank and taken it to the surge tank, and then the surge tank is taking it to the fuel pressure regulator and then returning it. So it's constantly sounding weird. So I just took off the rear seat so we can have a look at the pump. Let's grab a torch. I've got a leak again. You can see it right there, leaking. So I bought a tool so I can do this ring up because I'm sick of those rings. They're a pain in the ass. So I think that might be that ring isn't tight enough. But yeah, I'm not sure. It doesn't appear to be leaking from the fittings, but it's definitely down there. So that explains why I was having a bit of a fuel smell still. I thought it was the evap, but yeah, it looks like it's still leaking from here on occasions. So I'm just going to pressurize the fuel system and see if we can get that noise. Alright, so we're going to engine functions and then fuel pump. And we'll just set the in-tank lift pump on. And the surge tank on. So let's go for a listen. Did you hear that? So that return there is making the noise. And then, if you come up the front here, it's not making too much of a noise right now, which is typical. But yeah, it was this morning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap the overflow and the return around, and see if that's what's causing the problem. Because the return from the fuel pressure regulator has a venturi on it. So I'm going to put that onto the surge tank and see if that fixes the problem. Hopefully it does. So we'll see what happens. Alright, so they're swapped around. I just took that one off and switched them around because yeah, that one's got a venturi, that one doesn't. So we'll see what happens now. Yep, no. Can't go any tighter than that, so either the seal's dodgy, this plate's dodgy, or it's still leaking from one of the fittings. I might see if I can put some stuff on here just to see which one's leaking, like maybe some paint or something. Just a little bit of paint around each fitting and see which one dribbles. Because obviously if it's going to leak, it's going to leave a run mark where it runs, so and fuel or E85 will dissolve paint pretty quick. So I might go grab a paint pen, put a circle around each one, and let it run for like half an hour or something. Just keep an eye on it and see if we can see where the fuel's coming from. I'm going to assume it's going to be this, because yeah, that was when it was leaking before, but I thought it was just a fitting, but it might be the hole that I put in it. Who knows? Ideally, would just go to like a JDL manufacturing or something. They have a top hat for this, or like a little mini surge tank, but they're always out of stock. So I might even go to like a Billet Pro one from Billet Rotary, and then just run a fuel filter somewhere else. That might be the better way. Alrighty, so I pulled the pump out, tightened that fitting up again. It was a little bit loose. Looks like a little washer on the bottom of it ended up squashing down a bit, so it came loose. Probably explains why it wasn't leaking originally and then it started to. Anyway, so I've pulled the pump apart. So this is the top hat of the pump. This is the broken one. And I've removed the bottom little fucking surge cup when it wannabe and the fuel filter. And yeah, obviously the crap. So what I've ended up doing is just rigging it up for the moment. So I've still got the original one in there with the 3 fittings on it. But I've attached the pump to, say, like this here, but it's a little bit longer, it's about yay long, and hose clamped to the side here so that the pump's not going to move and it's pushed all the way down, and then run the other 2 straight off the bottom, and then put that in like that. So I've got to get a fuel filter, inline fuel filter, which will be a 6AN micron filter tomorrow before I go for a drive. But I've just got it surging or cycling at the moment. Yeah, it's a lot quieter. Even inside is a lot quieter. So heaps better. And no leaks from what I can see. Obviously I just put it back on, but yeah. Seems to be working a lot better, and being a lot quieter means it's probably that filter that was the problem. Or something, I don't know. So we'll see how it goes tomorrow. I'll go grab that filter in the morning and then chuck it in. Yeah, not sure where I'm going to put it, to be honest with you. I'll have a think about that tonight. Alrighty, so another trip to Motorsport Accessories. Yeah, we're going to do a few things today. So I've got a few intercooler pipes here, so I'm going to fix up the intake pipe off the air filter to get rid of the blower valve return, and it's like rippled on the inside of the bend because it was a cheap piece of crap. So I'm going to replace that, and we're going to make a new charge pipe from the intercooler with a tight radius 90 coming off the intercooler to go straight up beside it and into the throttle body. Got a new blower valve, just a cheapy Raceport style one, which Motorsport Accessories hooked me up with, and a 40 micron filter, -12, but it's going down to a -6. And yeah, a few little things. So I'm going to take the bumper off now and get to the intercooler. I did put this standard fucking thing back in too, because I want to put the standard air tray back in to limit how much hot air is coming to the intake pipe. But yeah, we'll do that later. So I'm going to take the bumper off, get to the intercooler, and then reassess where we're going from there and how we're going to go it and how we're going to do it. Yeah. Hey dog, what are you doing? No, the door closed. He's like, oh god, the door closed. Oh no. There you go. What's this? Hey, what's that? Is that you? What is it? No. Good boy. Nice. Thanks, buddy.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Look at the buggies.
What are you doing, buddy? Alright, so taking the charge pipe out. So the idea is we want to get this pipe from the throttle body down here and into here. And out there, down there, through that, and into intercooler this side. So it won't come up this side and go up under there and cause problems with this, because obviously last time I put my foot down, this ended up hitting the ABS and that can come out and I couldn't move it, but then I also want to replace the valve valve and get that out of the way so I can put the air box back in here, so it makes sense just to do it all. So we'll do that now. Alrighty, so it's been a couple of hours of fucking around. So that's what I got now. Just got to level it out before I chuck another one on here and maybe bend this a little bit, because yeah, the intercooler's on a little bit of an angle. Obviously this is hanging down like a motherfucker, but it's only a slight angle. It's just yeah, just a very tiny bit down on the side. So these, I just went to Bunnings and bought some 10mm rod and some 16mm tube and just cut it and welded it. So these have little screws on there. Yeah, this motorbike fucking found this out a couple of years ago, and it's not really handy because it's all the right size, but all those screws have like a collar on them as well, so it fits perfectly into the 16mm hole that I cut in, that I welded on. So yeah, that's pretty fucking solid. And these are rib nutted in, so yeah, they're all got a rib nut on there with an M6 thread. And yeah, just made this bracket here, which bolts onto the condenser. Just gonna make another one for the back there and bolt it up into here, because there's already a bolt there for that one. Then we can chuck that clamp back on and start making this side, but it is almost 7 o'clock at night, so it is getting dark. So I may have to pick this up tomorrow. But yeah, it's looking good. I'm quite happy with how that turned out, and obviously my welds aren't the greatest, but it'll hold. It's not going to hold air, it's just got to hold something together, so yeah, she's pretty strong. So yeah, see what happens for the rest of the night, and yeah, get that other one done and get everything back together. Air filter's down there, intercooler is mounted fucking like that, very fucking stable as well. So those bars that come across, I had to bend them a little bit to bring the intercooler up a little bit, so that should allow cold air straight into the front here and straight into the air filter and straight in through the radiator. Just going to clean this up, make it look a bit prettier. Yeah, obviously I wrapped this pipe and remade that. It's a 45, that's a 45, and then straight into a 90, and then there's a 15-degree angle in there just to angle it into the 90 to go into the radiator, into the intercooler. Now I did just have to modify the spring in the blow-off valve. The spring was way too soft, so even with the spring that I've got in there now, it's only just open, which is good. So the spring that was in there was this, and yeah, it's it's shit. So I grabbed a wastegate spring, which is a 7 psi spring, and yeah, now so as far as I can use. I had to, it's like just a tiny bit bigger, so I had to use the multi-grips to push that section in, and I just pushed it in the entire way just to make it a bit smaller, just to get it into the casing. But she looks good. Yeah, so we'll give it a bit of time to warm up, and then yeah, make sure she's all good, make sure there's no fuel leaks. The overflow tank is on, so that's the aeroflow one, which I just got it mounted just to the back there with one bracket, and yeah, she's stable as a rock. So that works, just wired it in, it's just 2 wires, so nice and easy. So the windscreen wipers work again, or at least the washers work. I might eventually remake this pipe as well, I'm not sure yet, but I really want to do something with these, because I hate how they just run over the engine bay. I still got to mount the oil catch can. I might even move it over there. Now I know I've got the room, so yeah, it sounds like a good idea. I'm going to route the pipes that way. But yeah, that's another day problem. So we'll see how we go. Alrighty guys, we're back again. So we've got the black RX8 up here. I just got it up on the jack at the moment. So we're still having some weird cooling issues now. I'm assuming it's because we've opened up the ports a bit, and yeah, there's now a lot more heat getting generated and the radiator has to disperse it, where on the previous engine it was a lot less thermal, a thermal issue anyway. So I had a slight problem, but it wasn't like this. So I can still drive it around and everything. It's just if I stay at say 3,500 RPM for more than say 5 minutes, like on the highway at 110, the temperature just starts to climb, gets to like 96 degrees, 97 degrees, and then stays there, which is fine. But it shouldn't be getting that hot because it's got an 82 degrees thermostat in there. And it should be on the highway staying around the 85 to 88 degree mark. So like the red one does, and that's obviously the old engine. So a few issues that we found anyway. The coolant had some weird black shit in it. So I'm flushing that out at the moment. I think that's leftover Vaseline and Hylamar, which yeah, is making its way through the engine. So I found a little bit on the cap and I wiped it off, but there's still a little bit more in there. So I drained the coolant last night and put fresh coolant in. And then ran it a little bit, and it didn't have any more on there, but the coolant feels a little bit slippery, more slippery than what it should feel like. So I think two problems is, yeah, I still need to flush the whole engine and the radiator and everything, just to get rid of all this shit from when the engine was rebuilt. And I also cleaned the heater core out with CLR, which probably doesn't help it because even though I flushed it through, some of it may have ended up in the cooling system. So we're just going to drop all of the coolant out of the engine, radiator, everything, fill it up with water, run a flush through it, drain that, fill it up with water again, drain that, and then put fresh coolant in there, and then see what happens after that. Now the other problem is I want to fix a few things up which I should have fixed up before. If I can get the camera in there, that'd be good. So you can see right next to the radiator, I don't have any foam. So air is bypassing straight past the radiator. It's also doing it at the top and the bottom as well. So down there, which there's supposed to be foam in there to stop the shit from coming through. And you can see right here, there's no foam there either. So air is coming through here, through this side here, and bypassing the radiator, and coming straight into the engine bay and creating a positive pressure back there, which it should be a negative pressure back here. So we need to force more flow through the radiator, through the front, through the thermofans, and then out to the engine bay, and then it goes down into the transmission tunnel and out. So I've bought some random foam. So I've got this double-sided EPAP foam. I want to try that. And I've also bought some of this, which is the stuff that they put on like water pipes and stuff. So it's good for about 80 degrees, roughly, I hope anyway. K-Flex pipe. Yeah, no idea. And we'll stick some of that onto the side of the radiator, so both sides, the top and the bottom, and try and force more air through the radiator. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Because as soon as you let off the throttle, the temperature just drops down to like 80 degrees. And it does it after like 10, maybe 15 seconds. But then when you put your foot back on the accelerator again and go back to 3,500 RPM, the temperatures start to go back up, and it just goes 82, 83, 84, and then after about a minute it's at 88, and then another minute it's at 90. And then, yeah, about 5 minutes later you're sitting at 96. And that's usually just let off the accelerator for 10 seconds and then go back on, and it's back down to 80 again. So it may even be a water pump problem. Not sure. So we'll start with the basic stuff first before I go spend $500 on a radiator and another $500 on a water pump. So we'll do this and see what happens. Alrighty, so we're flushing the radiator at the moment. Got a bottle of this stuff in there. So we'll see if that helps. Yes, obviously it's hot, it's bubbling up. It's bleeding the air through, bleeding all the crap out. Yeah, so we've got all the foam all around the top of the radiator. You can see I jammed it in there as well, try and stop the hot air from coming up through here. I'm leaving this on because this creates a negative air pressure to force the air through towards the back of the car. So this is very important, same with the battery tray and all that, like people remove it and yeah, this thing is going to be better because more air can come out. Problem is the air comes out and goes straight into the intake pipe and heats the fuck out of it, which then retards the timing or advances the timing and does some weird shit. So anyway, yeah, retards the timing, full skill. So the whole idea of this is to get intake temperatures down and engine coolant temperatures down by getting the air through the front, over the intercooler, through the radiator and the condenser, or condenser then radiator, and then through the back of the car, avoiding all this crap so it's forced up and then straight down again into the engine. Yeah, if we remove that, we probably, you know, get a vented hood, so it's creating the same kind of positive pressure down. But yeah, not ready for that yet. It's, you know, $2.5 grand or something for a bonnet. So it looks like we need some more water. That coolant definitely is looking pretty shit. So obviously this was flushed when I put the engine in, and fresh coolant, but yeah, she's looking a bit murky. So bottle says idle for about half an hour. Let it flow through, let it cool down, then drain it all out, fill it up with water. Same process, drain it all out, and then put fresh coolant in. So, yeah. I guess a fan mode, so that means set temp. And we are, yeah, so 86 degrees. Yeah, it won't, I can do it, whatever. So we'll let it off for a bit longer. And then go from there and yeah, see what happens. Hopefully it flushes through a lot of the shit and yeah, makes it run a bit cooler, but we'll see. Alrighty, so we're just flushing through the new coolant now. Got new green shit in there and just trying to get all the air bubbles out. So it's a little bit of a pain in the ass to bleed these, especially with the turbo on it, because the way you're supposed to do it is just connect that hose right there until the air bubbles stop, and you can't do that when there's no hose there connected to the turbo. So yeah, I just sort of sit here for half an hour, put the funnel on here and just pump this one here and watch the bubbles come up, and when they stop coming up then I know it's good. So we'll get a little bit more time and yeah, go from there really, just take it for a drive and see if it's all good. Hopefully it runs a bit cooler this time. Alright, so what I've done here is I got the automatic cluster, the original one, off my car, which has a 7,500 limiter, and the manual one. So I swapped this plate over from the automatic one to the manual and manual to automatic, and I've also put a bit of this black fucking speed tape over the little indicator, the gear indicator, and the park and AT light. So there's an AT light here, there's obviously park, neutral, reverse, and everything, and then the gear indicator there, so that if any of those happen to turn on, it's not going to shine through and look fucking weird. I'm thinking I'm going to keep a 7.5 grand rev limiter. I mean, technically it can go to 9, it's just the buzzer's going to go off at 7.5, and my rev limit is set to 8. So yeah, not too concerned about that, but pretty simple swap. Just use 2 spoons underneath that to pull it out, and yeah, that's just double-sided taped in, so yeah, you just peel them off and away they come. So we'll see if that works. That's just to fix the airbag light, which is that one right there, which keeps coming on, which doesn't happen with this cluster, but it does with this cluster. Not sure why.
I'm guessing it's because of the loom.
Could be something to do electronically in the loom, or it could be something in these, who knows, but it doesn't do it on this one, it does it on that one. So, whatever, we'll give it a try. Alrighty, so they've done the cluster, the intercooler, the intake pipes, and all that kind of crap. Now, we've got a few more things that need to get done, unfortunately. So, the intake air temperature sensor, right there. I thought it would be a good idea to have it just before the throttle body, which technically it should be. The problem is when this plate is in, the hot air comes through the radiator and comes straight up here, and intake temperature is right there. So this pipe here, like when I pull over after a drive, it's warm but it's not hot, but the sensor's reading anywhere from 35 to 45 degrees. And I know the pipe isn't that warm. Like both of these are nice and cool. There's no hot air coming up through here anymore. But I think the air is just coming straight up and yeah, heat soaking this pipe. So I've just chucked a bit more heat protection around it. I grabbed the piece that was on here that I don't need anymore, to see if we can limit how much is coming up into here and affecting this. But what I'm thinking about doing is drilling and tapping into the plastic manifold, and putting the sensor into the manifold. Normally you don't put it in the manifold because it heat soaks, but because it's plastic it technically shouldn't. But yeah, I just got to find if there's a decent place to actually tap it in. Because if I drill a hole in there, yeah, there's no going back after that. So I gotta make sure it's in the right spot. I could technically just move it further down here, yeah, or even onto the pipe coming down from the intercooler. Not sure. Yeah, it just seems to be like anytime you put it into a metal or an aluminium or anything that's other than plastic pipe, that pipe heats up and it heats up your sensor as well. At least this one does anyway. I don't know if it's just this sensor. Technically it shouldn't be affected because it's plastic mounted, but yeah, we'll see. The other problem that we have, so let me grab the key. Actually, the key's in there. Just grabbing the logs from the car at the moment, so ignition is already on. So I've got the automatic cluster back in with the manual face on the left. So the manual face is on this side, the rest of it's the automatic side. So I don't have the airbag light anymore, which is good, but I do have a problem on this side. I need to grab another torch because you can't see it. Alright, grab my torch. So, I mean, you're still going to be able to see it. No, that's a pain. Well, anyway, those who know, on this side there is radiator at the top to say your expansion tank's empty, so pull over and check for fluid. And then there's an oil light, and then there's like a key light, and then there's a few other things. But on the manual one it's different to the automatic. So the oil light on the manual is actually down the bottom here. The oil light on the automatic is at the top. So yeah, so my problem is when you trigger the oil light, so I just unplug the sensor on this sump, the key, it comes up with key, and the oil light's down there. So a bit of a pain in the ass. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to fix that yet. Technically I could rewire the cluster, the LED in the back, to instead of turn on the key, turn on the oil light. Yeah, it's probably the better way, because this cluster, this is my original cluster from before. I only changed it like 3 or 4 months ago. It's got 40,000 kilometers less than the original, and yeah, I want to keep the 120,000 kilometers rather than having the 165,000. So yeah, we'll see if we can work that out. Otherwise, yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. If you've got any suggestions, definitely let me know. Yeah, not sure yet. So we'll see what happens. Alright, so the other thing that we've done is we have put a fuel filter in the boot, because obviously I don't have the filter in the tank anymore. I took that out, and yeah, I went to that micron filter. So we now have a fuel filter just off, so it comes out of the surge tank when the output goes into the filter, and then out into the fuel pressure regulator, or the rails, and then into the pressure regulator. So I haven't mounted that, it's just sort of flapping around at the moment. I've got to go to Motorsport Accessories next week and buy a I mean, they sell a mount for these kinds of filters, so I'll just bolt it to this side here or something. But yeah, that works really well. And has not interfered with the flow or the sound of the pumps or anything. So yeah, very happy with that. It's fuel pressure stable, it feels good, everything's good. Fuel doesn't heat up as much. Yeah, it's just good. Now I have also done the oil catch can, so I don't know if you noticed it, but I have moved it. It's now over here. So I just bolted it, same kind of thing as that one bolt where the washer bottle was, and I just put that there. So yeah, it's now mounted and out of the way. Definitely prefer it because it looks a lot better when it's not sitting over there with just pipes going everywhere. So we're almost at that point where I can start cleaning everything up and making it look a bit better. I did remove the furry shit from each side as well. That drove me nuts, but I haven't washed the car yet, so it's a bit dirty. But yeah, so we'll go have a look at the intake air temperatures in the log, and yeah, see how we go from there. And then, yeah, like I said, if you've got any suggestions with the cluster and what to do there, definitely always, let me know in the comments below what you think, or if you've done it before, what you did. Otherwise, yeah, it might just be a case of going to a Heltec dash or something later, or seeing if I can maybe print something, or get something that's printed already, like a sticker that goes over it. I don't know. We'll go from there. Alrighty, so let's have a look at this log. So this is from the middle of this video, the nighttime pull down the road. So this is just the internal Heltec log, which only goes for about 20 seconds or so. 20 seconds, yeah, about 15 seconds. So you can see coming on to boost here, she spiked pretty hard to 15.7 psi. I did not expect to see that. But yeah, dropped down pretty quick back to 14.8, 14.5, and finished about 14.3. And then third gear pull started at 13 or 14 and then dropped to 13.5, 13, and stayed a bit there. So yeah, I need to lower the duty cycle a little bit at the lower RPM to stop that from happening right there. Because yeah, good thing I'm running flex fuel, because that would have blown the motor up. Now, the intake air temperature is, let's see, this blue one just here. So we started at 30 degrees, and after the pull, we're sitting at, 35, 36. After the second pull, we're sitting at 40 degrees. And then as we coast down the road, it cools down pretty quickly. Yeah, very quickly. So that's what, 10 seconds there, probably, 5 seconds. So the whole way through there, this is say 8 seconds, and it dropped from 40 degrees down to 37 degrees. So it's a 3-degree drop in 3 seconds, which is pretty good. Wait, did I say 3 seconds? Yes. I meant 8 seconds. Bloody hell. So that is pretty good. Being that, the intercooler is laying flat. I didn't expect it to be that good, but we'll see how it is on a hot day anyway. Now, O2 logs is pretty good, actually. This is pretty damn good. A little bit rich there, actually. Right there is very rich. So 10.6, 10.4, 10.1. And then here, the tip in was rich at 10.5, and then leans out to 11, 11.2, 11.1, and then, yeah, finishes at 11.2. So that's pretty good apart from that tip in, but I do like a rich tip in, which prevents a bit of weird shit like when boost spikes like that. And yeah, it just gives you a bit of safety margin, but yeah, I mean, it might just need to be leaned out a little bit, because ideally, 11, like 10.9 to 11.1 is fine. But yeah, we got 11.2, 11s all through here. So a little bit of fuel needs to come out. It should be about 11.2, 11.3 the whole way through there, to give a little bit more power as well. But main test for this was the intake temperatures and the fuel pressure, which is good. So that's almost on target. It's about 1 psi off. And here it is a little bit higher than normal, but yeah, that's good. Everything looks good. Alrighty, so we've done a fair bit in the past couple of weeks. This video happened over the course of say 2 weeks. I haven't even driven the car for a week. It's been crazy. I've had my son's 16th birthday and trying to get his license and yeah, anyway. So like I keep saying, if you have any suggestions about what to do with that cluster, the automatic one with the manual side of things, definitely let me know. Keen to get everyone's input on that to see if anyone else has done it, what they did. I know someone commented back 6 months ago when I first put that cluster in and said that's what they did, so I thought I'd give it a try, but obviously it does work, but it's not great. Because yeah, you just need to make sure that if you see the key light, that means oil. Pretty big one to mess up if you don't know what you're looking at. And I didn't realize what it was. I thought it was a battery in my key. So I changed the battery and I'm like, why is it still going on? And I looked it up and I reckon the antenna's in the back and I was like, hang on. I didn't plug the oil sensor back in. As soon as I plugged it in, the light went off and I was like, oh God. And yeah, checked it and that's what I found. So anyway, now we're gonna see how this is gonna behave now. I'm not sure if I'm gonna leave the intercooler like that. It's more of just a test to see what's going on. I wanna get those intake temperatures down and the engine coolant temperatures back under control before I start going into too much more power. So my goal for this engine and the car right now is 400 horsepower. My ultimate goal is 500, but I don't think I'm going to get there with this turbo. And unfortunately, I can't easily put a bigger turbo down there because there's not much room. I might be able to get something. Yeah, we'll see. Later problem. Right now, that turbo is pretty efficient at around the 14 PSI mark. As you can see, the intake temperatures don't exponentially increase. So the efficiency of that turbo is good for what it's doing right now. I may have to go to a larger rear turbine housing, but I'm going to put an EMAP sensor in just to keep track of the exhaust back pressure so I know what's happening. I may even do exhaust gas temperature, but well, yeah, that's a little bit down the line. Works a little bit crazy at the moment, so I'm trying to keep that under control. We're trying to keep content up on YouTube and keeping everyone happy and everything like that. So yeah, I do this for you guys, not like mainly for you guys, but for me as well, but to prove a point that the RX8 can do it. It's just not as easy as an RX7 engine, but yeah, we'll see. I haven't removed the intake air temperature sensor yet, but I haven't taken the car out since I put that other heat shielding on. So we'll see what happens with that first before I go drilling and tapping into the intake manifold. I am looking at making a new intake manifold, like an RAW style, but it's a lot of work. And yeah, I know Brett Speed, I've been talking to him a bit on Facebook. He found that his intake manifold was cracked from running a little bit too much boost, and that's what I'm concerned about with mine as well. Is now that I'm starting to put the boost pressure up more, that I may end up cracking that plastic intake manifold, and I'm gonna have to go to either a cast one or a metal one. But I also want to get rid of the SSV and the VDI, which requires remaking the lower intake manifold and then adapting it to an upper intake manifold. So I've been talking to a few people about this and they all want to help try and make something, which is the 4-port or 6-port lower intake with a RAW adapter for the top. Now, there is a couple of things you can buy online, but some of it's really expensive, and I have access to a laser CNC, a water jet cutter, and a CNC machine, and a few other things. So technically we should be able to make it. And I got it made. It's a really good welder. I used to be a pipe welder. So yeah, should be able to make something and then adapt it to like an RX7 style rail with 6 injectors, or 4 secondary injectors and then 2 primaries. But yeah, we'll see. See what the plans are. Like I said, 500 horsepower is the ultimate goal for this, but whether or not I get there is a different story. 400 horsepower is attainable. It's just, it might be the upper limit to a 4-port. But yeah, I might need more injectors. And now we've got 2000 cc's a primary and 32 or 3300 cc's a secondary. So that's what, 5350 cc's of in total injectors. We should be able to get close to that with what we've got. I just need everything else to fall into place to make it work. So yeah, we'll see how we go. Now, obviously, if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe. You know, we're starting to get some traction with this channel, and it's good to see people are actually commenting and engaging in it now. But yeah, like I said, if you got any questions, definitely let me know below. And yeah, happy to help wherever I can. Obviously, I'm not going to tune your car for you. I'll help you figure out how to do it. I'm not doing this as a professional service. You know, I'm not going to modify your car for you. I'm just doing this to show what I'm doing to get to this level, so you know when you go to do it, what it takes to get to this level. You don't have to go to this extent, but yeah, you can see the journey along the way. So anyway, thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.